The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Nicole Hennessy, Vice President of the Music Business Association. Glad to be with you here today and extremely happy to kick off our fall lineup for the Common Ground webinar series. We've worked hard to bring you 12 great presentations over the next couple of months, ranging from metadata to consumer trends and analysis, to legal focus panels, to sync focus panels, something on the webinar series for everybody. So visit us at musicbiz.org under events. You'll see Common Ground webinar series, and there you'll be able to see the lineup for the fall and register for those events on our website. Talking about events, in addition to this virtual event series that we have some great face-to-face events coming up. Next, actually 2 weeks from now, the 26th, we have our Entertainment Technology Law Conference. And don't be scared by the word law. It really is a conference for everyone. Songwriters, artists, managers, label staffers. It talks about legal issues, but how to overcome the challenges related to podcast licensing and copyright infringements. We'll talk about stems, and we'll talk about data privacy. So not just lawyers, really meant for everyone in the business. So if you're in New York on Thursday, September 26th, we will be there as well with our Entertainment Technology Law Conference. Again, musicbiz.org events tab, and you'll see more information on that. That's a one-day conference. January, we have a two-day conference that we call Nylon Connect 2020 in its fourth year. It rotates between New York and London, hence the name NY. LON, New York, London. We are in New York, January 16th and the 17th, 2020, at the Dream Hotel downtown. The program is coming together really nicely for that. We announced earlier this week 3 of our keynotes for that event. Cecilia Quist from Spotify, Scott Cohen from Warner Music Group, and Sun Lee from YouTube. So great keynotes to kick things off, and some great panelists yet to be announced. You can check more on that event at nylonconnect.com or again back at musicbiz.org in the events tab. And then, of course, Music Biz 2020, that's our flagship event. That's planning for that is well underway. Mark your calendars. That's May 11th through the 14th in Nashville. If you haven't been there, definitely an event that you want to check out. 4 days, and we always like to say, and this is not a phrase that we came up with, but one of our attendees said, the 4 most productive days on the music industry calendar. So you definitely don't want to miss that. You can check that out at musicbiz2020.com, or again, that events tab at musicbiz.org. And the other big news here on the Music Business Association end is we've had a leadership transition. Jim Donio, who has been our president for 32 years, has taken on an advisory role at the association. And on September 3rd, we welcome Dr. Portia Sabin as the new leader of our organization. Portia has an indie label background, as well as been a huge advocate for the music business for many years. She's also has a podcast, and will be, sharing those podcasts with our membership as well. So some exciting things happening here at the association, and we look forward to all of you getting to meet Portia virtually or face-to-face in the coming months. So with that all said, I'm going to turn it over, because you're not here to listen to me today. You're here to listen to Marina Garza from TagTeam Analysis. Marina has a full hour of presentation here for you this afternoon. She'll take questions at the end of the webinar, but feel free, if you have a question pop up as she's presenting, put that in your questions box, and at the end of her presentation, she will be sure to answer those questions that are in that box. So without further ado, Marina, I'm going to put myself on mute and turn it over to you. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Nicole, for having me. And thank you all for joining the webinar today. I just wanted to give you some brief introduction of who we are and what we do at TagTeam Analysis. We're a music tagging service, and we're designed for the production music industry. We've been in existence for close to 10 years now. We provide descriptive metadata, which is moods, genres, subgenres, featured instrumentation, for music libraries selling music for commercial use. With the webinar, what I would like to do, let me see if I can get this to work, is go kind of a step-to-step approach to what I'll be talking about. And as you notice, this picture is a picture of a library in disarray. So kind of my job is to help clean the library and fix it and organize it as best as possible as our team can do it. So there's 3 sections of the webinar I'd like to go through. One is the tagging process. The second is structuring keywords in a taxonomy or a schema. And then the third section would be the introduction to our tagging platform, which we call TuneTagger, that we use in-house. So starting with the tagging process. First of all, to kind of give you some background about myself, I started as a music analyst for Pandora, working with the Music Genome Project from 2006 to 2008. In 2009, I started TagTeam with our first big client being Olay or Majorly Indie. I think they're now called Anthem Entertainment, but they've been our pretty much first client, and we're still working with them. Through those years, we've worked with many different clients, many different types of libraries. We've realized a lot of everything that we do is really heavily Excel and spreadsheet based. So we developed a macros-based tagging platform initially, which is now grown into like a web-based platform that we're currently using and we've been using for the past 2 years. My team consists of 3 analysts that do the tagging alongside me. We have a software developer and a data scientist that we're using for our future goals now are centered around incorporating some machine learning with our actual human listening. We're currently working with around maybe 30+ clients on a consistent basis. We complete anywhere between 500 to 800 tracks a week. And we use kind of an assembly line strategy or approach to tagging. So instead of having each analyst completely do a full tagging of a track, we actually have each analyst is actually responsible for certain tagging fields. So for example, if I may have an analyst only tag moods and featured instruments, and I may have another analyst only be responsible for tagging genre and subgenre. So this kind of approach actually helps with accuracy and, due to the heavy concentration of listening, when the analysts are only listening to a few elements, it actually helps them get through it without, serious burnout. So each analyst can cover a large amount of tracks when they're only listening to a few elements. So that's kind of our process, our tagging process. So let's move on to actually keyword structures, taxonomies, and schemas. So the most important aspect of tagging music is to have a consistent set of keywords organized in a structure that represents, the industry fields. So for example, set keywords for moods, set keywords for genres, set keywords for subgenres. And also it's really important to know all of the descriptive fields that are unique to the production music industry. So for example, like the style field, which is also called a music for, a music usage field. So depending on the music that you represent, if it's, a very specific style or a broad general array of styles, there's always room to customize your keyword schema based on your particular library. So for example, if you represent a trailer, if you represent trailer music or sound design, you're going to want to have as many effective keywords that are going to represent that style, and also strategically placing those keywords in effective and correct fields. So like just as an example, a lot of my clients now, there's a good number of clients that have come up the pike recently that have sound design libraries. And like sound design, like full track mixes, it's important to tag those so you can find all of the specific innuendos of a sound design track. So I will tag that a lot differently than I would tag a full track. And so like if you have a library that's just that, you would want to find a good strategy to tag those particular types and styles. And I'll just give you like a brief example. So sound design, you're dealing specifically with risers and ramps, bends, atmospheres, hits. So with that, and you want to filter those into the actual specific types of hits, the specific types of risers, and also specific instrumentation based on those qualities or those items. And that's just an example of how maybe your library might need a specific approach. So that way we can find your music and you can find your music. All right, so let me get through here. Let's see. Let's talk about more in-depth look at actually tagging and actually using common descriptive fields. So we spoke before about the fields that are important when you're building a taxonomy. So I'm going to come here to the common descriptive fields that we deal with in the production music industry. So we have genres and subgenres, which sometimes we can call those categories and subcategories. Some good techniques of tagging genre, I would recommend only using one tag in the genre field instead of multiple genres, because it's really important to just grasp the compositional dominance of a song. So if it's electronic or if it's a score or something like that, it's really important to have just one tag under the genre section, and then you can put multiple tags in the subgenre that kind of just basically describe in more detail what the genre is or what the influences are. So as we were talking before, styles, music for usage field is a unique field to the production music industry. We also consider that field keywords. You'll see it pop up as keywords. That's where you want to put your styles tags. Now, a style tag these are actual tags that define how a track can be used for commercial use or for TV and film. So a good example of a style tag would be action sports, extreme sports, blaxploitation, vintage, retro. So all of the tags that actually describe how you could actually use the track. And then there's moods. One thing I didn't put in here is textures, and textures goes hand in hand with moods. Textures is a very important part of the mood section. It all defines a track's feel. So if it's smooth or if it's gritty, heavy, gentle. So those are really important also aspects of a track that should be defined in that field. There's track description, which a lot of our clients request a small, maybe a one-sentence editorial that just kind of gives you an idea of what the track is about. And then there's featured instrumentation. We handle that section, and I would recommend that you use featured instruments as a featured instrument section, meaning you only want to like tag instruments that have melodic content or high in the mix or soloed. You don't want to use all of the instrumentation, and that's just kind of how I would go about doing it, because then you're not going to have good search results for someone who's looking for, maybe synth bass or looking for Rhodes keyboard or something like that. So I would suggest keeping that field somewhere between 3 and 4 instruments tops. Then you have BPM and tempo are very important fields to always have filled out when you're doing these types of descriptive metadata. And then cue type, which is kind of more in the general sense. Is it an instrumental? Is it vocal? Is it a song? Is it a sound design, or is it sound effects? So these are all the common descriptive fields that you would see when you're working with a lot of these aggregators that want descriptive metadata. So as we go on, I'm going to show you kind of what we do. This is a standard production music taxonomy and keyword mapping. So this is just like a cross-section example of how you would map keywords, how you would organize certain types of music. So we're going to go with genre, subgenre, styles, and moods. Our genre is going to be score. It's very general. Score could be pretty much anything. So our subgenres we're going to filter from there would be cinematic, drama, and dramedy. So these are kind of really commercial related subgenres. So within that, our styles, this is kind of how our strategy is behind tagging these types of tracks. So for cinematic, we're going to have action, adventure, and horror as what we filter to actually pull out more tags that reflect that type of cinematic track. So we either do action, adventure, and horror. With drama, we kind of filter those tracks. Either they're going to be emotional, heartfelt, or emotional, sad, or emotional, uplifting, or one that's not in here is dark or mysterious. Dramedy, the same kind of treatment, quirky comedy, sneaky, or animated types of dramedy that we can actually filter and put these tracks in specific, buckets, if you want to call that. In the moods, we have, these are kind of related moods that go with these styles that are chosen. So if you notice, under each subgenre, there is a style that has been highlighted in yellow. So that's the one that we're giving you an example of how we would have preset tags that fit adventure. So for moods, we would have awe-inspiring, majestic, wondrous, and heroic. Just to make things clear, it's not a hierarchy in our mood section. So awe-inspiring, expressive, and humorous are actually not hierarchical terms. They're just a way that we organize our tags so that way we can find synonymous keywords that fit. So basically what you were looking at is, and even in drama with emotional, heartfelt, all of the tags in the mood section are probably what are going to pop up if we actually tag a song drama with heartfelt qualities. So passionate, sentimental, enchanting. And then dramedy, you have quirky comedy, that would be kind of more under the humorous section of moods, whimsical, playful, and youthful. So this is just kind of like a basic overview of how we would map our tags based on genre and subgenres. So as we move along to the next section of the webinar is our TuneTagger, our actual tagging platform, how we use it, how it functions. So here are the many aspects of our platform. We have project management page, so you can manage all of your either albums or projects that you're tagging. We have an MP3, WAV, and CSV upload section. I'll go through some of the navigation, and hopefully I'll have some time, which I think I will, to actually in real time tag a song on our platform. We do copy paste metadata functions, automated features, and presets. These are actually really good tools to keep our workflow going. Then we have track description creation. And then at the end, once you complete an album or a project, we have CSV file formatting and output. So our first page is our project management page. This is divided between active projects and completed projects for organization. You're able to start new projects. You can title them. You can add all of the track information. It prompts you with how many tracks that are left to categorize. And then your Get Started button takes you right to the actual tagging page. There are 3 tagging pages when you're tagging tracks on TuneTagger. So we'll start with the project homepage. Here's where you add songs, you upload audio or CSV files. You will notice that you have the add songs, add song metadata, and then you have the CSV file options here. But let's talk about how we actually get the project implemented. So you have 3 different options. You can either title, you put the song titles, implement them in manually by typing them and adding the songs that way. You can also upload a CSV of your titles. or you can import MP3s or WAV files via a Dropbox, which is usually, this is kind of the most way, the way we do it mostly is by importing the songs. Reason why we do it is because they're a little bit more, you have more options with the actual track data, the MP3. We have an MP3 player or WAV player, and we also have a BPM analyzer. So when you import your song, it'll actually analyze the BPMs as well. Our navigations is kind of just a general overview of how the tagging platform is, you can navigate. So we have a home page with a dock that has these buttons: next song, project page, the next tagging field or the next tagging page, featured instruments, and moods. We do have a drop-down menu that has, you can pinpoint exactly where you want to go and what sections you want to tag. Then we also have a track player if you upload your MP3s. Okay, and so then we have this these functions that are copy-paste metadata functions. This is actually very helpful in getting through tracks that are very similar. So if you're working on an album, or if you're working on a project that has, let's say, the same composer, the same album with like all similar instrumentation or all similar moods, you can copy metadata from previous songs. And you can copy, there's like, if you can see, there's a drop-down menu. So all of the drop-down menus have the titles of all the songs that have already been completed. And if you want to pick and choose which one you would like to copy the metadata from because they're very similar, you can do that. We added another feature that also presents genre and subgenre along with the track title. So that way, if you're going back, let's say you just finished like a pop rock song with heavy electric guitar, and you did one of those, you tagged one of those maybe 2 or 3 songs before, you can look at the genre and it says pop rock, then you can say, okay, I could copy that metadata. And so that way, and it kind of helps. I mean, there's going to be a lot of stuff you might want to, keep, and then there might be stuff that you want to go back and edit certain specific things that pull out maybe the distinct qualities from one track to another. The other box is alternate mix. And this box is actually used for full mixes and their prospective alternate mix. So a lot of people have in their libraries a full mix, and then they may have stems or 30, 60, 90-second clips of certain things. This kind of helps taking care of the metadata between one from the parent mix to the alt mix. So you what the difference between the two boxes is, you're copying the same metadata, but when you use the alternate mix button, it's directing you to the instrument field, because most of the time you're going to be wanting to change the instrumentation on an alt mix or on a stem. So that's kind of how those two work. So then we go down to automated features and presets with BPM I discussed earlier. We have a BPM detector and a menu that has a manual tapping ability. So you can either use the BPM analyzer when you upload your MP3s, or you can tap it manually. The analyzer itself, I would say, is about 80% accurate. It's it works really well on tracks that have a real strong tempo or BPM. But any of the tracks that have like multiple tempos, or it's vague what the tempo is, it's not going to do so well. So that's kind of one of those things that you're going to probably have to manually tap out. You can also do a double BPM, double time it, or half time it with those buttons as well. So as we move forward, we have the aspects of automation within our platform that help guide you along through each section. So how I'm going to handle this is we're going to talk about how these functions work and how the presets work. The presets are all based on how you tag a subgenre. Okay, so we're looking at the right-hand corner here with where it says urban, R&B, and score. This is kind of this is how our subgenre section looks like. So the urban and R&B and purple and score are actually the genres. So those are how you select a genre, and below them are their prospective subgenres. Our subgenres you can cross-populate. So for example, if you tag a score, but you know that, let's say there's hip hop elements, you can still hit hip hop and it will come out as a subgenre. For an example's sake here, we're going to stay with score. We're going to kind of go with kind of what we were talking about earlier with our mapping. And we're going to select here, we've selected orchestral epic. And on the right side where it says genre, subgenre, these are the selections, current selections. So we've selected cinematic, adventure, and orchestral epic. So once you've selected these subgenres, then you'll get a group of recommended styles. When you hit a get recommended style button, recommended styles will pop up for those subgenres. And it's all editable, so you can, if you don't like any of those tags, you can easily just click and they will disappear. And then you'll have a styles field section. As you see in the far right corner, it says styles field drop down menu example. So these are not in any hierarchical order, they're just organized based on the tag that's highlighted in purple. So action, adventure, horror, and all of the tags below it are drop downs that are based are reflective of action, or reflective of adventure, or reflective of horror. It's just an easier way to get through the platform and find tags that are that work for the actual song that you're listening to. So another section that's automated based on the subgenres is the moods. So you would have preset moods that would pop up based on cinematic and orchestral, and these are the tags that would pop up. Again, on the side, these are how the moods are organized on the platform. Not hierarchical, but these are all the tags and all of the synonymous tags that are dropped down below that you can use. And you can also click on these to delete them. You can click on these to add to them. Same thing goes with our instrumentation section. These are the presets for orchestral and cinematic. And then these are how the instrumentation is organized. Instrumentation is organized based on family. So electric guitar, acoustic guitar is an example of our drop-down menus that go into more detail on the type of electric guitar or the type of acoustic guitar. This is across the board for all types of instrumentation, for brass, for woodwinds, for strings. It's the same situation. And then the last page of our platform is creating track descriptions. This can be a bit of a tedious section of tagging music, is actually coming up with sentences for each track. So we've kind of developed this process. It's based on two different sentence styles. So the sentence structure is going to stay the same. The only thing that changes are the actual keywords involved in the structure. The keywords are based on synonyms that are based on the actual keywords that you've tagged the tracks on. So we have a whole list of synonyms that that actually come out based on those keywords. We do have some functionality like a switch instrument button if you want to switch the instrument placings from the first to the second. For example, if you don't like percussion on the first placement, you can hit that switch instrument button and it'll put brass on the first setting. You can with the randomize button, you can shuffle the keywords or the synonymous keywords into a sentence of your liking. You can also fine tune the sentence by using the drop-down menus that are located at each section, and you can fine tune it to make a sentence of your liking. So that is basically how the platform works when you're tagging. As we go down, we have also, once you're finished with an album or a project, you want to download a CSV with all of that metadata, and you want it all in the proper fields, and you want it formatted correctly. So we have the option to format the metadata in any way, or any way you need it. We currently have a good number of clients that use Source Audio and use Harvest. So we do have those buttons already programmed to format your metadata to work for those spreadsheets. And you'll notice that this one is a source audio format, and the one below is a harvest format. I got a question earlier about, and I get this question quite a lot with a lot of clients regarding embedding metadata directly to the audio file. And how important is it to have all this lengthy metadata? It is, in my opinion, obviously, it's very important to have as much good, detailed metadata for descriptive metadata for your tracks on a website. I mean, I'm sorry, on a spreadsheet for database ingestion. There is software out there that will wrap metadata into to an ID3 tag or a WAV file. But it's all ingested from a spreadsheet. I'd say I think the problems that still lie, and they have lied for quite a while, is that it's really difficult to put all this metadata onto an ID3 tag. I don't think there's any software out there now. I mean, I've done some research, and I just I don't see that it's possible right now to get all that metadata in there, but you can pick and choose what you want. And I know Source Audio and I know SoundMiner are two different companies that do offer that type of formatting or embedding. But I believe it is also limited to how much you can actually put in there. So yeah, so that is pretty much what TuneTagger does. I actually would like to maybe go in real time and tag a song for you so you can see how the actual platform works. So what I'm gonna do is go to my active project page and just pick something out. I haven't really tried to do this, but I think I'll do this now. Let's see, what can I do? Let's try this here. So I don't really know what I'm going to be listening to, so we'll just take the first one and see what happens. So as you can see, this is the first page of the tagging platform. Here is the navigation, and it floats. And here is the player. And then here is the BPMs. So the player actually stops between pages and you have to hit play again. It's a little bit annoying, but. below, I didn't mention this, but we have where it says all selections. If you want to like last minute edit something, take something out, you can do that here. Then you're going to go to the add description section. And you can pick something, you can randomize it. You can change this around. I mean, I think I heard mixed choir. I don't have my headphones on, so I can't really tell if there was mixed choir, but I thought I heard it, but it's not really that prevalent from what I heard, so I might take that out and maybe use percussion and maybe brass or strings is actually probably pretty prevalent. So I'll pick that, and then I can either save and go to the next song, or I can save and go to the song list. So for now, I'm just going to save and go to the song list. So that's tagging a full track. On this section, here are all of the tracks to be tagged are in red. Tracks in progress that haven't been completed would be in yellow, and then the completed tracks are here. And it tells you the genre, whether it's being worked on or if it's completed. So that is pretty much it in a nutshell, how TuneTagger works. Just a few things I wanted to mention is that we also have documentation and instructions on how to use this platform. And it definitely has capability of customizing it. So if you wanted to, customize it to your library, you can. We're offering this platform to subscribers. And if you're interested, we can set you up with a 30-day trial. So you can, upload files and tag your own music. You can reach out to me via our website, tagteamanalysis.com, or you can drop me a comment or email me at marina@tagteamanalysis.com. And so I guess what I'll do now is I'll take some of these questions. I'm going to see if I can manage to look here. Okay, so I have a question here. Are any of the tracks you received tagged via machine, AI, etc., or is everything tagged by human? So through the process, I would say the majority of it is tagged by humans, and we have obviously automation that helps us get through tracks a little bit quicker. We have techniques that help us, stay accurate to what we're doing, but actually, workflow-wise, get through projects quicker. Okay, let me see what else we got. I can definitely send you my slideshow. Sometimes are you willing to send a slideshow to us participants? Yes. If you want the slide, I can definitely send it to you if you send me your email.
Just to chime in here real quick, we do post a recording of this webinar to musicbiz.org. Under the events tab, Common Ground webinars, you can get to the recorded webinars there if you are a member of the association. So you'd be able to re-watch this if you wanted to.
Wonderful. Excellent. Okay, another question. All of the preset suggested styles, genres, moods, are these tags based on an industry standard list of keywords that exists somewhere? DDX, or is this your proprietary list of keywords? This is kind of our taxonomy. So it's based on I don't know if I would call it proprietary, because I don't think anything that is kind of keywords suggested is proprietary, but it's based on all of the tagging we've done the last 10 years. This is a compiled list of keyword structure that we've used, and so we've used that for our presets. So yes, to answer your question, yes, it is I would say it's pretty much standardized to the production music industry. Yeah, so that's that. Let's see what we got here. Is it possible for all track metadata to be stored in a database that can be shared across different regional offices? Yes. Like I was saying before, everything that we do is very CSV spreadsheet heavy, and you can definitely ingest this into a database, and you can definitely share it. There are, companies like Source Audio and Harvest that I believe do this kind of function. A lot of people use their website to ingest their metadata for their tracks. Can you upload a CSV that will add the tags initially and then just update in the tagger? Yes, we can definitely do this. We've been working on this. And I know that this is definitely a situation because you already have a lot of PRO information, and you probably have a lot of file names and stuff that's already pre-done, and then you just need to add the descriptive metadata. So yes, it's definitely something that we can customize on the platform if that's something that you need. What's the largest catalog you've been able to tag for a client? All right, the largest catalog, I would have to say, we're currently right now working with about 40,000 tracks, but we're doing a lot of cleanup work. So we're actually, there is a lot of already tags that have been done, but they're not consistent. There's not like a set keyword system. So we're actually doing cleanups. We've also done, I would say the largest we've done is probably around 60,000. And it's, it's not something that we can just do overnight, obviously, with our schedule of doing somewhere between 500 and 800 tracks a week. We're looking about months, maybe even a year to finish a library of that size. Most of our clients are mid-size. A lot of our clients we've done a big job for, and then they just continue to submit their music to us, and we tag it and we send it back to them. On our website, we have a really comprehensive, and I'll show you this very simple way of bringing, if you wanted to have your music tagged, if you're a small operation and you want to have your music tagged, you can always go to our website. Here are our pricing. You can submit your tracks. There's a file submission and payment section. You can upload your tracks. You can select how many tracks, and then you can just pay for them. And then it usually takes us between 5 and 7 business days to get return a project that's fairly small. That's like maybe under 300 tracks. What if I don't want to upload my files? Can we use it on offline mode? So I'm assuming that you don't want to upload your actual MP3s. You can definitely do it offline mode. You can do it that way. Well, I'm thinking that you would probably still need to use it because it's web-based. You're going to still need to use internet, but you won't have to, upload your actual audio. You can actually just put a CSV file in there, and if you want to use your own player, you can do that. Is it possible to customize the fields? Yes, definitely possible to customize the fields. So maybe what I would need to know is what your definition of fields is, because the fields, in my opinion, are the categories that are moods, description, keywords. So if you're wanting to customize those and call them something different, that's not a problem. That can be done. Same with genres and subgenres. If you want to change them, you can change them. Have you ever tested your keywords or tested them recently to see which are queried or licensed more often? Even in sets would be insightful. That's a good question. I actually have not tested them. I've actually just formulated these keywords based on all of the different libraries that we've worked with in the past and all the different schemas that we've worked with. So they're compiled combination of keywords that have been used throughout the industry. But actually, that is not a bad idea. If you have a library and you're using certain types of keywords, I would say it's really important to test them and pick the most prevalent keywords and have your library set with those. I would be confident to say that the keywords that we are using are pretty prevalent in the industry, and they're used throughout the industry. So yeah, so that looks like all of the questions. I think I answered them all. Let me double check. Oh, it says, will we receive a deck at the end of the presentation? Should we be taking notes? I think Nicole had stated that you can always go back and review the webinar. It'll be on the website. And I believe that is it for me. And I wanted to say thank you all for joining the webinar. I really appreciate all of your feedback and questions. And
We actually have one more question that just popped up there, right at the bottom.
Sure.
Does your tagging include situations such as football game, cooking, road trip, baby shower, etc.?
Yes, it does, definitely. Those actual tags that you mentioned are actual style tags, usage tags. So yeah, they're very specific to the industry, and we definitely use those.
Mm-hmm. That was the last one I see.
Yeah. Oh, actually, you know, there was just one other question that somebody had regarding classical music. It was like, do you have specific recommendations for tagging genres in the classic music genre? And I would say, specifically, if you're tagging classical music, the things that are important are classical period, your instrumentation, and also the usage. Like, how would you use a classical piece in a situation that has to do with a commercial setting? So, you know, back to what the last question was, like those certain situations, how would you use it in a situation? Would it be a ceremony? Would it be weddings? Does it evoke sophistication or luxury? So those are the kind of things I would ask on a classical piece. Regarding instrumentation, someone also brought up, and this is, I think this is close to what classical music would invoke, is if you're using instrumentation like violin on a classical piece, like let's say it's a concerto, where would you put the actual brand of instrument? So like a violin in classical, you might have, you know, it's a Stradivarius, right? 1739 Stradivarius. Where would that tag go? That, in my opinion, I would not put that in the instrument section. I would only put instruments, like specific, you know, general instruments in the instrument category. But if it's anything specific like that, I would put that either in styles or keyword section. So that's my advice. Yeah. So yeah, I believe. Yep. So like I was saying again, if you're interested in TuneTagger and you want to do a 30-day trial, please by all means contact me. Yeah, we hope we can be of assistance to your library's organization in the near future. So.
Thank you so much, Marina, and thank you for joining us this afternoon. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you back on the webinar series on the 26th of September.
Okay, sounds wonderful.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye.